Hey everybody, it's Steven GetMoneyMyrick here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the new campaign mode within Idle Heroes, give some of my thoughts about some general strategies, and I'm also going to do a deep dive on map 147, which is a map that is definitely kind of a barricade to some people. I know that when I completed it, I went from about 500 in the rankings to about 200. So you can tell there's definitely a lot of people stuck on this level. So I have some footage of the teams I used there, and a few of my stories about struggling through it. Dear Lord, when do we get a skip button in this mode? But let's go ahead and jump in and talk about campaign. So in case you're not aware and you live under a rock, there's a new campaign mode now. And basically you get here if you're able to complete a certain number of levels, they'll let you auto fight through them, which is kind of nice. But what is not nice is you still can't skip them. So you're not doing anything wrong if you get to a point where you're just watching fights for 30 minutes. That's actually how this is intended to work, believe it or not. But you'll unlock this new mode, and within it you will face levels that are, in my opinion, they're honestly pretty similar to the original Tower. If you remember Tower before we got Tower of Dreams, they're very similar. We're getting the same opponents on each level. And it's going to allow content creators and people that want to make guides to kind of give general strategies about how to beat the levels. The other cool thing is they have a rankings button for everybody, so you can't see it, but I'm ranked number 1 in the world right now. I'm just kidding. 244th. And one of the levels that I mentioned I know people are having trouble with is 147. Once you're able to get to 147 here, this is triple Sherlock, triple Young Holmes. So there's lots of doves and lots of magic. But luckily, I have some skills as a magician. And I decided, you know, with just a little bit of time and effort, just a little bit of time, I would be able to go through and clear this. So I got on, got a bag of chips and Cheez-Its and just sat in my chair and grinded this for an hour and a half. Because, believe it or not, there is no skip button yet in this mode. I'm sure it is coming, but you have to sit through and watch the entire fight. And sometimes that can take a really long time, especially when you're trying different strategies. Especially when your Vesta still lives for a really long time, but you know you're going to lose. And in the hour and a half of footage, I actually never once cleared this. But the next day, I was on my phone and I did clear it. So I have some really cruddy quality screen capture where I joined halfway through the fight and realized, oh crap, I'm going to beat this level. I mean, the real key is controlling these heroes so that you can get anything out. I think the Aspen with the Rui was huge. In general, in these campaign levels, I found there's kind of two strategies. One is you are trying to energy feed your Starwing Jar as much as possible. And the other is you're trying to equip heroes with a bunch of crowns and just out-sustain and out-tank the amount of damage that's coming out of you. So obviously there's some pretty high requirements to get this high. You need some pretty strong heroes and some pretty strong artifacts in order to push this mode. But as I mentioned, 147, I was ranked like 500th, and after I cleared it, I jumped like 300 spots. So I think there's a lot of people stuck on this level. So I just want to show you how I beat it. So we are jumping into the fight kind of halfway through, and you can see that that's kind of unfortunate already in round 4. I did have a Scarlet Queen Halora, and really, honestly, the key was just keeping my Jara alive and having her be fast enough to get off these control effects. So I'm going to show you what team I used in order to enable that. I was not having luck with a Rui. I found if I used Rui, she wasn't tanky enough, and I had to put a crown on her. And also, since I only have one Rui, I found that putting the Rui on Aspen was huge. The amount of damage I took when I put a Rui on Aspen, he was able to put control on that back line. It was significantly easier. So I think I go through now and I kind of show off the heroes I used. So you can see the 6 heroes. The Scarlet Queen Allura had the Snow Heart in order to slow them down some. You can see I've got 3 crowns, a Rui, and an A and B. I did not use the SFX. You can see we got speed HP, kind of speed tankiness on our Starwing Jara here. Aspen here, you can see his stats, same thing, going for speed. I mean, you just have to be faster than these heroes, especially when they have these massive control effects. Make sure too that your imprints, your void imprints, that you're going through and putting on control immunity. I know like it's not as important now as it used to be with some PvP stuff. But you definitely want to make sure you have the control immunity on that. And you know, you can pause any hero here that you want just to see the general stats I was rolling with and just how strong my heroes were. But getting that Snowheart, getting slower, and you can see here I jumped all the way to 200th ranked, and now I've, what am I, 244 now? So I've definitely fallen off since I cleared that. So yeah, that's the strategy lineup and team that I used to clear 147. Hopefully you find this helpful if you're around my level but struggling to beat it. Crowns are going to be super important in campaign mode. Honestly, I'm kind of done until they add a skip button. It just takes way too long. These levels are very difficult if you don't have overpowered heroes, which obviously I have pretty powerful heroes compared to a lot of people. But I don't have broken, you know, I'm not at the top of the leaderboards. I was pretty proud of myself for clearing it. I'm now stuck on this level that has like 3 King Bardens and 3 wall decks, and there's just massive amounts of damage even with crowns on. So I kind of like it. It's a good mode, I think. It unites us all because you can do like one strategy and we're all facing the same opponents, as opposed to like the Tower of Dreams now where you can roll different heroes and roll different opponents. But I like that we're able to just come back to it every once in a while. You power up your team, you get a new artifact, and you're able to try something new. And the fact that there are going to be a lot of strategies out there for clearing certain levels where people get stuck. Just like, do you remember the old days where there was like the Mim level in Tower and nobody could clear Mims, and then Garuda came out and like, oh, there was like a cheat strategy with Garuda. There's going to be like the same stuff, right? Like where hopefully there's going to be these strategies that enable you to beat stuff. Obviously, the fact you can only use trans heroes, the fact that you probably need crowns and ruies and all these pay-to-win artifacts, it's a very limiting game mode, but it is an idle game mode, and I definitely appreciate that. So all in all, I'm kind of happy with the campaign mode. Once they add a skip button, we definitely need that skip button. Hopefully you enjoyed this video though, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.